So, welcome back on In Between Homes podcast. I have the pleasure today to have Diana with me. And welcome, Diana.
Thank you for having me. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. My first question to you would be, where is home for you?
Home for me is in my heart.
Mm.
Um, I feel that I'm truly at home when I'm truly present where I'm at and really in tune with my emotions, what I'm feeling, and enjoying the present moment, no matter where I am in the world physically.
Yes, I love it. Do you want to share how did we meet?
Sure. So we've met in Bali, working on a common project, dear project of mine called the Zen Cleanse. So maybe we won't go into that now, but I encourage people to search the brand because it's truly revolutionary and it's changing lives, and I'm very honored to take part of that and be part of that change and that movement that is happening there. And that's how we met. Yes.
Yes. I remember our conversation at a cafe when we decided, okay, let's get to know a little bit more each other, and it was almost a year ago, I believe, or not far from there, and I was really amazed by your journey, your story, and you know, similar in a sense, and as well so unique. So I I look forward to diving into that today. And my first question is, if you look back at who you were 10 years ago, how was your life?
Oh my God. So 10 years ago, okay, as a context, I'm 28 now. So I was 18 10 years ago. And I was living in my hometown in Romania. And I had actually a pretty amazing life, but so different. My mindset was so different from the one I have now. No, and I was in school. I'm not sure. I think either high school, college. I don't know, but I was really ambitious, but in an egotic sense. I was um, more materialistic than I am now. And I remember that um, I, I kind of were that girl that had it all, like the boyfriend, the lifestyle. I don't know. People knew me in school and around town, and I don't know. Yeah, the house, the beautiful life in the on the surface. So there is where I was at 10 years ago. Yeah, in a very beautiful life looked from the outside. Although
Yeah.
young, I was very mature since forever. I remember as a child, I was saying to my mom, I feel like I'm an old soul trapped in a young body, in the in the body of a child. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Such a awareness at a young age. And have you ever imagined at the time that you would end up in a way in Bali and working on an amazing project like this?
No, 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 no. I was more looking into the well, it was a society as well, I think. And I was really focused on following the linear path, that it's sort of embedded in us, at least here in Eastern Europe. Um, well, due to the culture and all of these things, people are really prone to being materialistic, like you have to have your own home, you have to have your family, you have to own things, you have to, like, freedom, it's not such a high value. This is my perception, how I feel. but the safeties. So I was trying to make sure that I'm secured, in life, and yeah, just following the natural steps that were laid out in front of me, and trying to achieve what everyone was looking for.
And did you have a kind of wake up call or a moment where this is not the life I want and I'm going to do differently?
I don't know if it was a wake up call, but there were it happened in time for me, because the more I achieved, the more I felt like this is not what I want. I was in a quest for happiness, and at some point where I ended up having it all, I felt so empty, and I was disconnected and dissociated from myself. Like I remember driving back home, and I was like, I feel nothing. I feel nothing. Like I didn't felt alive. And I was in a relationship for 11 years. So I had a beautiful, and it is a beautiful story still to this day for me. My high school sweetheart, but it was before high school, even from the age of 13. And we were together for 11 beautiful years. And that was also something that was very important for me. And I really wished for that traditional life, like just one relationship for my entire life, and have a home and kids, and I don't know, like money and trips, and this idea that was sold to me. But at some point I realized that um, I wasn't present, and I wasn't happy. And but actually Bali played a crucial role in that, because
Are
I
you
visited
jealous?
Bali in 2019, and did all the touristic stuff, like what people do there when they act as visitors, like the monkey forest, Nusa Penida, and all of that. But I vividly remember how I felt there. It was I never felt like that in my entire life anywhere else, and I've traveled. It was it brought me back to myself, and I remember saying I must. The moment I landed back in Romania, I remember saying to myself, I must go back there. I was homesick. And the funny part is, I was never homesick for my actual home, like my hometown. I never had that feeling. Like, and it's something about the land, like, I don't know, that place. I'm very connected to it. And yes, I remember then saying, I must go back there. Because maybe then it was the seed of that awakening, you know but the most the impact came when I decided, actually when I got engaged, because I was engaged. So everything, like I told you, everything was at some point was settled. Okay, Dana, you wanted this life, here it is in front of you, it's yours to live, so live it. And after that, the engagement, something happened. And at that point in my relationship, we were very, I mean, after 11 years, the level of trust, intimacy, honesty, it was very high. Things were really good in that sense. And I remember we talked about it, and we were like, are you happy? Not really. Are you happy? Not really. But we deeply cared about the relationship. But day by day, we were not happy. He had some wishes for himself and for life. I had another, like, yeah. And then we decided to, I never told this story like this. We decided to give ourselves some time. Like, it was sort of a internal break. um we didn't share it with anyone, but just to see what happens, because we felt that we cannot end it. We didn't have the courage or the power to just end it, you know. Neither could we continue like that. And those were, I think, the most intense months of my life, because what happened is that he actually felt in love with someone else. And then we ended the relationship. But it was so abrupt for me, and I was not really ready. And we were, our life was shared, like everything was intertwined. The job, we had the family business, the home we lived in, like, you know, we were one. And then was the moment when I lost almost everything. I just had my health and my family. And that, I think, was the rock bottom, when I really awakened, and I was like, okay, now from here, I can build my life from scratch, you know? And I feel that then it's when I started to be more authentic, and it was really about, okay, how do I want to live, who I want to be, and I started building myself. That was maybe the beginning of one's life cycle. And when I moved to Bali last year, I felt that another cycle began. Like, all right, then it was just me, but inside the familiar, you know, in my country, with my friends, my people, like still having the safety. And 1.5 years ago, when I just flew out into the world and in the unknown, I felt like, oh, all right, now I'm also alone. Like, I felt alone in the world, and now it's really, really about who I am and who I want to be authentically, you know, because it was no one from my previous familiar environment um, to influence me or to remember me, who I am, or things like that. So, yeah.
Wow, thank you for sharing. And I think so many women can relate to your story of being for a long time in a relationship that felt in a way comfortable and knowing and not, but unsatisfied or maybe not anymore happy and not having maybe the courage to act on it because I've seen a few people lock with the material world in a way, you know, all the finances are in common, the house, everything is built together, which, and I would love your point of view is that as a woman, how it happened maybe a little bit fast with you because you found someone else during this moment of pause, but even to arrive at the point that, okay, now we need that pause. How was the process for you as a woman?
I learned a life hack that I'm really happy to share, because I used it since then in other relationships as well. So what happened then is that it was the death of my ego, right? On the moment, because I lost it all. And when you lose it all, like, the ego is like, okay. And when that happened, my heart really opened, right? And I the life hack, or the epiphany that I had, is that you can love somebody and not want to be with them, you know? Like, I went through that breakup with so much love in my heart. I knew that I love him. And I also knew that we are not a fit for each other anymore, you know? But what I feel that sometimes people do is try to repress the love that they're feeling. And oftentimes, especially in long-term relationships, um, it's impossible to do that, you know, like starting day one after the breakup, because there's so many memories, so many years. So for me, what I find really useful is to go to that grieving process, because it's actually, you are grieving a future you are not gonna live anymore, right? Because you have plans, you are feeding those while in a relationship. So when you choose to part ways, what happens is that you lose a life path. And I think it's important to grieve that while acknowledging the love that you have for that person. And well, in my case, it was very controversial because no one was expecting. Like, imagine, we were engaged one day, and 2 months later he's with someone else, and that person, and it was so funny because she literally sort of, he continued his life, uh not by replacing me, because this is not what happens, but he ended up, um she ended up pregnant just 3 months from our breakup. Yes, it was very, like, I don't know, like in the movies. And she ended up he ended up having a family, in the next year from our breakup. So he sort of continued the path that we were on. I just pulled myself out of it. Someone else came, and it was his life path, I guess. And I vividly remember having this feeling. I'm an intuitive person, and I knew the moment that they started that she really is the one. Everyone was like, it's a rebound, like, oh my god, after 11 years. But I felt it in my heart because we were so connected, and I was the one telling him. He was speaking about her, and I was like, you're in love. And he was like, oh my god, yes. So it was, when you have that level of intimacy and honesty, it's, I don't know, life humbles you somehow. And I feel like the only option was for me to open my heart and just love the person without the attachments. Like, I'm setting you free, and you are setting me free, and we can still love each other without being in touch, or you know
Wow. I'm so blown away.
life for
Yeah.
me is this. So, and I find it really helpful if you, when going through a breakup, you hold on to that love and just bring along that, the fact that that person is not for you anymore. Like, I can love you and not want you anymore in my life, and these two are not
The
contradictory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I thank you for bringing so much love into a breakup. I think it's amazing to see that, because we see breakups as a failure, or separation as, oh, my life is done, or I need to restart everything. And yes, in a way, as you said, the common life path you envision is gone. You need to create a new one for yourself. But I love how love actually carry you, and all those love you provide to him as well, even though you were separating, and now he's having his family. And yeah, it was not your destiny, and you probably won't be in Bali now, and we probably won't be on this podcast because we maybe would have not met. And so the beauty of life is like embracing this moment of grief, and then, okay, what's next for me?
Exactly.
Did you have a vision for your life straight away, or how did this build up, except the connection to Bali?
So yes, I always pictured myself, but this, from early childhood, I know that I was a very curious child, and I have this one one thought that always was with me. If there's something in this world that can be experienced, why can't I experience it? Like, it was like I didn't believe, or um, yes, it didn't. But it was hard for me to accept limits, like until here, or you can't have this, or you can't do that, or um and the vision, because you asked me about the vision of life, I always pictured myself as a person of the world. Like, I was born on planet Earth, so this is my home, and I want to explore that place, and this beautiful planet we are on. And I had this as a child. So this was always the vision. Of course, I had no idea how it will happen. I still don't, but I know that from early childhood, I would envision myself just hopping from one place to another, you know, and like, I don't know, traveling and yeah, embracing Earth as my home. So, and I feel that Bali is that catalyst, you know,
Mm.
and it's sort of the starting point towards that life. Because the beautiful thing that happened in the last year and a half is that I feel that I unlocked the next level or life cycle, how I call them, um, towards that international identity of mine that I always felt that is who I'm meant to be, you know?
Mm.
And that's just because it's inclusive. Like, I was like, I don't want to be limited just to this country, you know, or that country. And there are so many peoples and there are so many cultures and there are so many things to be felt and lived. And I want to have the freedom and the option to do so, you know. And even in my professional life, I remember I could have built something in my country, you know, like, I don't know, and I tried different types of businesses and agency, and I always had this feeling like, but not in your native language. No, 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 you have to do something in English, because that opens the door to endless possibilities, you know, like, you are out there in the world. But if you're going to focus on building something in your country, you're sort of limited to that. So yeah, I think in regards to the vision, I have glimpses since forever, like they're visual in my case, and I just have, like, you know, very fast, like some images. And when they happen later in life, I'm like, okay.
So very big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, international calling and being able to speak different languages for me has been, this identity of citizen of the world, which also I end up being there very early stage as well. And it's like, it's now hard if I restrict myself to be just where I grew up. And it's definitely not me anymore. But like, let's embrace, if those that listen today have this willingness to explore. You don't have to quit all your life to actually start exploring. You can just go for 2 or 3 weeks somewhere and get lost in that country and explore and meet different cultures, speak different languages. I think it's where your brain starts to expand on what is possible in life. So now that you are here, and are you proud of yourself after this kind of breakdown? And
I don't know how I resonate with this word proud, because in my case, to give context, I'm a high achiever. So I'm actually trying to avoid the word proud, you know. Because, and I can explain the the why behind, because then I put pressure on myself, you know, because okay, I'm very proud I managed to do this, and then I feel like I cannot fall, yeah, like I cannot go, you know, if I'm here in my mind, I cannot allow myself to do a regression, you know. So another life hack that I have is to say that I'm joyful instead of proud. You know, I don't know. I resonate more with this word. Like, okay, I'm joyful and I'm really grateful for everything that happened to me, and this helps me keep myself in balance, because right now how I feel that I'm living life is more boldly, yes,
body.
and courageous, you know. And also, from my perspective, and there are a lot of graphics, you know, when you are living in the present moment and just with courage, and that life goes like this, up and down, you know. And when you zoom out, like, the path is indeed showing growth in a linear way. But it's, and Then what I'm in the process of being really comfortable with is going through those ups and downs. And when I'm down, not feeling like it's the end of the world or being scared. No, it's like, okay, this is a phase. We know how it goes. And also the hack is here is, yes, I feel like the life has certain patterns, and you go through some cycles in life so that you can learn and grow. And if you're really in tune with yourself, I feel like you can feel the start and the end of a cycle, or a lesson. So yeah, in the midst of it all, you're gonna have the ups and the downs. So I'm really trying to avoid that word, pride, and being proud of myself, because in my case, and I'm not saying this is for everyone, but in my case, it's harmful. Every time I was proud of myself and became really confident in an egotic way, life just put me on my knees, and I was like, okay, not doing that anymore. Like,
I see what you mean. It's finding the right kind of, in a way, it's finding the right inner confidence, because we need to build up this anyway. But at the same time, we know that we may not stay there forever, and these those high and lows, and embracing those moments of life. And you were talking earlier about it's a experience, and life is a series of experiences. It's amazing. So tell us a little bit more about your work today. What are your gifts, and how are you on purpose with your gifts?
all right, my gifts. So I'm uh, I'm a manifestor generator that comes from human design. And again, for those who are going to watch this, if they are not familiar with that, I highly recommend them to search a little bit and find more about it. I find it very useful. And as a manifestor generator, I have many, many uh, passions in life, and I'm wearing many hats, and this is since forever, since I know myself. I would always be interested in various topics and just absorbing it all. So I'm definitely an entrepreneurial. I have an entrepreneurial mindset, and I have freedom as a value. So ever since I started, I was looking for autonomy, and in the present moment, where my gifts are in the marketing field, and in business in general. I'm a consultant at the moment, and what I do is develop strategies for various businesses and projects, and also, when because you asked me about gifts, but not also, but how I do that, or the projects I'm interested in are the ones that are in one way or another raising the consciousness of the planet. Now, this sounds very, but this is where my passions are at, because what happened in my lifetime as well is that I was, like I shared with you, I had this ambitious part of me, a high achiever, and I stepped into the world in my early 20s with a lot of eagerness to achieve things, to be successful, and I was in a very um, boss lady energy, so to speak. So I would go, and pitch for clients, and just be super oriented on the industries in the world that were very profitable, So whenever there were an opportunity for growth from a financial perspective, from again, the industries that the society promotes as being professional, successful. When the crypto wave came, I was like, okay, then you know so it wasn't so much about my mission and what I stand from for, in terms of values. It was more like it was separate. It was like, okay, this is my profession. I do this to be successful, to have money, to da da. And I worked for a very, very long time in an office with some very talented and smart guys. It was like a little office from I don't know, Silicon Valley type. This is how I perceived it, at least, because they were I know, outstanding in so many ways that I could not understand. And I would go there like a fairy, da, 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 and there were like lots of screens and graphs, and anyways. And I was, in the first part of the day, I was there working and being in that hustling mode. And in the evenings, I was already on a spiritual path, and I would go to, I don't know, ecstatic dances and do meditation, and spend time with people that were more interested in the unseen and the soul, and the life journey from a perspective, from the soul's perspective, and like being in peace. So I was in between worlds. uh, this is how I felt, at least, because on one side, I had this group of people that were all about, I don't know, succeeding in the 3D world. And on the other side, I was with these people that were all about thriving in the 5D world. And I was in the middle, and I was like, I don't want to let go of any of them. I want them both. How can I have them both? Because what I could also see is that this group of people were not so spiritual. I mean, they were not in peace. They were stressed. They were agitated. Like maybe they were successful in the material world and they had stuff and they were enjoying beautiful things, but they were stressed. They were tense. And then these other people, they were placing more value in free time, and just laying on the grass, reading a book, and these sorts of things. And they had that stillness in them and that peace of mind, and their eyes were sparkling. But most of them were maybe financially um challenged, and I was like, I want them both. I could not fit myself in any category, like. And then now, because circling back to the professional part, my goal was then to become a bridge between these two worlds and take the learnings from the 3D, that yes, the business world, the marketing, everything that I learned, all the theory, all the knowledge that I have, and support the people that are on this side of well, not things, but that are here with a higher purpose, with a spiritual purpose, with yeah, yeah. So when it comes to my professional life, this is where I'm focused on, really leveraging all the knowledge that I accumulating during the years, by being part of many, 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 many projects, and using that in projects and to support people that are that have the mission to help humanity be more in peace and more joyful and more, aware. I think it would be the word. Yes,
Wow.
that's my mission professionally.
Yeah. Thank
Being
you for
that bridge.
sharing. Yeah. I love the image of the bridge because I've been there, being in between two worlds, that, the financial world and then my personal growth, like, how do I bridge this? And it takes a while to find the union to within yourself, to integrate those two parts and to be as one and show up as one in everything you do. Actually, it's like I'm not showing up anymore on just being a CFO, but I'm like I'm a kind of a spiritual CFO, and I showcase what I do in the wholeness of it. But it's a journey, and I think a lot of people can relate to that because having a fit in between two worlds that don't marry each other and are so opposite, where money is in the in between, and it's fabulous, to be today seeing as a whole and being a bridge. So it's great what you are doing, and supporting more people to find this peace within themselves and what they do, and also creating the financial inben- independence in a way to continue to sustain their mission. Because the reality is, yeah, if a spiritual person wants to help others, need some money, need some fun in today's world. So it's where being a bridge is important. So I'm sure you are already
You
serving.
cannot really create from a place of lack, you know.
Mm, exactly. So how has been for you the journey of the entrepreneurial world? Did you face any challenges? Any lesson you would get from there, or
Every
life
single
hack?
day. Every single day. And the more I expand in this role, right, and the more leadership I take, I'm realizing that it's all about the challenges. Yeah, of course, for me this came naturally. So um I feel like in my case, I didn't really had a choice. Like I cannot be in places where I don't have the autonomy to make decisions, to create the way I want to create. Um, yeah, yeah, or to have a schedule, like 9 to 5. I tried. I lasted in corporation for 6 months. So, and it was great. It was one of the greatest companies in Europe, like a marketing agency, and they were amazing. It was just not for me. I was like, okay, I can't do this. I just, I couldn't just ask for time off or vacation, and just that thought of I have to ask someone so that I can take a day off. I was like, I don't know. I So it came naturally for me. I really feel like there is no other option. Um, and regarding the challenges, well, I think the challenges I think were and are more on the emotional side and personal growth, because I feel that the entrepreneurial path is constantly pushing my limits, and so in order for you to scale, you have to expand, and to expand you have to work on yourself, because the only thing that is holding us back in any area of life is are our limiting beliefs, or our lack of discipline, or like this kind of things. And yes, it's about expertise a lot, but once you've mastered that and you just keep adding skills, hard skills, I feel like it's the rest of it, like, I don't know, 70%, it's about your personal growth and your mindset and all of that. So, and I also strongly believe that all areas of life are intertwined, So, what I feel um, that can be improved in our society is not separating the professional life from life in general, because we are humans, we are individuals. Like, if if I'm having a bad day, or I had a fight with my partner, or I know something happened, I'm not gonna show up in a business meeting in the same way I would show up, in a normal day, or in a day where I'm excited because something amazing happened. So you cannot separate those two. And I'm planning to share more about this on my socials. I was very quiet lately. But I'm planning on sharing more, because we are together part of the project that I mentioned, Zenclans, right? And the way that this company is being built is really the path of consciousness and love, I feel, because everything is integrated. Like, we don't look at each other as only as, I don't know, colleagues or resources, or our emotional um aspect is also taken into consideration. And I really feel like this is the future for businesses as well, that the sooner that the companies will integrate this aspect in their company culture, the sooner they do this, they will thrive and really see some
Yeah,
improvement.
I agree in the fact that cannot be separated in a way. We need to, a lot of the work I do is to put the person in the center of his life, his or her life, because you are, imagine you lose your business tomorrow, then most of the people lose their identity, is where it's wrong,
Yeah.
and it's normal to attach identity to work. I've done that as well, and uh, it's what society is putting us a tag on ourselves and label, and how you introduce yourself. Usually the second phrase is about what you do in your life, in your work life. So integrating, really putting yourself at the center of your life is then like, yeah, of course I have emotions. Of course I have bad days and good days. After is a lot also about setting up healthy boundaries. It's what we do in relationship and what a lot of people in business don't do, but it's where it's necessary as well to remain business as business as well, in a way, but in a healthy way, not on a, just cut down your emotions and your feeling and just go to work and shift and put a mask. It's more like how I can create a environment, a space where I can be myself, but I also know how to kind of step out or detach, or because I have this freedom of boundaries and space. So yeah, the future of working together for me is so different as what we know in corporation today. And with this client, we are building another way, and it's really exciting. Amazing. We talk also about, family and being far away from your family. How is it for you? Do you feel some, loneliness time to time from, everything you have known before, your friends, your family? Or is it easy to manage for you to be abroad? How is it for you?
This is a good question. So, give me a second. it's I'm hesitating in responding because on one hand it's hard, but on the other hand it's easy. And why is it hard? Because we have such a good relationship, and I enjoy spending time with family and friends. And I mean, we just fill each other's cup, and I have my tribe here in Romania, where I'm currently in. But on the other hand, it was easy because what I did during the years is also increase my intuition and feel when I'm on the right path or I'm deviating, So it's easy because I know I'm where I'm supposed to be. So then it becomes less hard, if that makes sense, It's like it is what it is. I this is what I have to live now. This is where I'm supposed to be, and it feels good in my body. So every time I miss them, or emotions like sadness come and visit, I'm like, okay, I will embrace them and just be grateful, because what they are showing me is that I have people that love me and whom I love back. So, yeah.
Oh, amazing. I love the duality of the situation, because I think it's really that is we're not living abroad to not be connected anymore to the people that we know forever and are part of our blood family and all of that. But it's also another freedom to be able to be in another place and explore and have different connections. So I totally relate to this duality. It's like I still love you. It's not that I'm gone. I still
Yeah.
exist. You're still part of my life, even though we see each other less often. We may be less in contact. We may miss some birthday, some event, but you're still part of my life. So it's a good relationship to maintain anyway, and it's this supporting support that we have wherever we are in the world in a way.
Yes.
Um,
And we are really lucky, I feel, right now with the technology, because the physical presence and touch is just a part of what feeds a relationship. But there's so many other aspects with which you can nurture a relationship. So I do that. And yeah.
I love that. To those who would love to create a life that they love, maybe in Bali or abroad, what would be your advice?
Um, hmm. To those who want to create a life they love in Bali or abroad, to have courage and know that courage is not lack of fear. And this is also, it has to do with duality. And another life hack that I learned is looking at the duality of things. Like we live in a dual world, and oftentimes the only thing that we have to do is embrace both sides of a coin, like if we have a conflict, an internal conflict, and we have like two opposite thoughts, or I don't know, unite them and do that by acknowledging the fact that they both can coexist within you. So I think to live a life in gratitude and a life that you love is to have the courage to do so, regardless of how that looks like for you, or how you envision it, or what happens along the way. Just really feel your fears or your emotions, and have the courage to show up, to try, to do to do the first step, and to act. This is, I feel like this is the most important thing. Just act, just show up in life, and just do it. And this is what it means to be courageous in the end.
Yeah.
Feeling, maybe you're afraid. Of course you're afraid of the unknown, but this is the definition of courage: not knowing what's going to happen, and doing it anyway, and just letting life surprise you. And for those who maybe are more spiritual, I would recommend them to do a that meditation, or maybe some exercises or a workshop or anything that will make them aware of the fact that we are here on earth for a short period of time, and that the end of this identity will go. I feel that really helped me and helps me
Yeah.
every time I'm afraid of something. Like, okay, you're not going to be here forever. You're not going to have, I don't know, like nothing is yours, and you are going to go someday. And that really, I feel it ignites the courage in us, because you're like, okay, this is gonna happen anyway. What I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
And once you feel that in your body, because our mind understands. But if you do something that will be more spiritual, in the sense that you will feel that feeling in your body, like this was it, then you live your life and you show up in life every day with more confidence, and you're more grateful and less perfectionist, I would say. At least this was my case and what I observed in others.
I love this. Thank you. You know, I'm a big fan of finances, not for the numbers, but really for the awareness of it. What is your current relationship with finances, or maybe how the journey has been for you and your relationship?
All right. This is a juicy topic. I actually love to talk about finance and money and everything that has to do with it, because it was a big chapter of my life, or not interest, but I placed some focus on working on that relationship, right? um Also because in the past, so I was born in a normal family. Like we had everything that we needed, but we were not abundant in that sense of money is not a problem, right? And then I had a phase in my life where money were not a problem. Like there was abundance of money, and then I lost it all. So my relationship with money was like during my life, and that made me anxious, or somehow I don't know, it didn't I felt like I didn't have the stability, right? Nor did I have a straight growing line like da, 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 da. No, it was up and down, up and down. And I started working with my relationship with money from various perspectives, like the mental one, right, with the beliefs, and also from a more energetical and spiritual perspective. And I could really see those changes. And I'm right now I'm in a such good place um with money, because I realize I'm really feeling, that they are just a mean to for people to create, right? Like we need money. Money is important, but money is not a goal. Like they you shouldn't, I think, I don't know. There, how do I put this into words? So, you know how it is said that money doesn't buy you happiness. I strongly believe that. In the same time, I strongly believe that the lack of money makes you unhappy, because if you don't have them, you are only thinking about them, because you need them. You need them to pay your bills, to have your basics needs met. And another life hack, if we want, is that I learned is, and I'm proud I can use this word, is that I had the courage to stop once my needs were met, to stop the race, and just focus. All right, now the basics are met. Who do you want to be? What do you want to create? And really focus then on my soul mission, and not think about the money I could make, and just go with the flow of things, and just being very greedy in that sense of, all right, more, I want more. Of course I do, but not at any cost. And I feel that it's so easy to get trapped in that journey of becoming financial abundant by doing something that you don't truly love, just because you're getting more better and better at it, and you stop questioning, like you are ta ta ta, and life passes.
Yes.
So that's my relationship with money. And where I'm currently at is that I don't really think about them so much, which is great, but I also have lots of respect for them as a resource on earth, because I feel it's very important to be aware of how you spend your money, and also the value that they have. Not dismiss them, like they are not important. Yes, they are very important. With money, you can achieve lots of great stuff. And yeah, but in the same time, it's, yeah. you know.
I love that. Thank you for sharing so openly where you are at with your finances. I know it's not always a topic that people are ready to share. So thank you. And we are almost coming to the end. But before I do the rapid fire, I have one question. What can we wish for you?
For me, okay, wow. All right. So I'm trying to be concise. So what you can wish for me? Mm, you can wish for me to have everything that I shared, and I encourage other people, the courage to live life with an open heart. Yes. And faith. So yeah.
I love it. Thank you. So now we are arriving at the end, and I love to ask 5 questions, and you have a short answer. So just what's coming to you. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Let's go.
First question. One thing you would love for your life.
A family.
One thing you would love for the world.
Awareness.
The worst advice you have ever received.
Wait, it came in my native language. Um it is the way it is. It's just oh, how
Yeah,
do I translate this?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's that.
Don't question things. This is how things work.
Mm.
Eh,
And, and the
I
best
mean,
advice you have received.
the best advice I have. Be you. Be yourself.
Mm.
Just be yourself.
And the last one. If you had a magic wand, what would you transform?
What would I transform? In which sense?
You choose.
I can do anything with a magic wand.
Exactly.
Oh my god, I don't know. Oh my god, the power. This is the hardest one. I was so confident, like answering. Wow, I don't know. I feel it would be reckless for me to decide on the spot. If I have a magic wand, I would bring a, I don't know, committee of people and
Now you have 20 seconds, and after the magic wand just disappears. So you have one chance.
yes, I have a magic wand. Of course, at the end goal is to search for a way to end the suffering, of humanity. But I don't know how that would look like. And also, I don't know if it's even me as a human thinking about it, it feels off. Like, I don't know if we should have that power because I feel like there are so many more aspects that are playing out in the unknown and what we don't see. It's very hard for me to answer this question. Sorry. Magic
Maybe
wand.
in your
What?
life, if you want to refocus on
Ah,
your.
just for myself.
Yeah, if you
Then
want. If you want to.
then it's easier. If
Be
not,
selfish a little bit, just for your life.
all right. For my life, I have a magic wand. Um, I would, well, keep myself healthy for my entire life. Yes, I think this is yeah,
I love
just for
that.
myself. This is what I would do.
Thank you so
Just
much for your time, Diana. Do you
thank
want to
you.
add something on your heart that you haven't shared today that you would love to share?
No, it was amazing. It was a great chat. Thank you for having me, and I'm very grateful to have met you, to work with you,
Yes.
and also to that you gave me the opportunity to share a little bit of my life journey and be here today.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And we see you soon on another episode of In Between Homes.